Good morning, new day, new task. That's how we like to approach things. Hello, welcome back. My name is Aladino, and together with my wife Maya, we are refitting a Cape George Cutter 36. I dug out the teak combing caps that I have already started on a while back. Task is gonna get completed. So a while ago now, I decided to completely change the design of the cockpit and the combings. Before, they were more of a traditional horseshoe-shaped combing, and instead I decided to copy what I have seen on some other Cape Georges and instead have the combings flare out on either side towards the bulwarks. And that leaves us, at least in my opinion, with a lovely aft deck that is open and a pretty spacious cockpit in general. I really love how the combings turned out. I think they're making a really nice cockpit here, but what will really turn the cockpit around and make the combings more comfortable is the teak caps that they will receive on top. So making those teak caps is my mission for this episode. So this is what we have right now, this long piece of teak and the really beautiful pad here in the back. Same for both sides. So the first thing that needs to happen is I have to flatten the combing. It's not one straight line yet. The look from here, yeah, exactly, it doesn't touch everywhere yet.
I see, okay.
So I have to make one straight line, especially this aft corner here sticks out.
Yeah.
So I'll have to trim it down a little bit. And then of course we have a piece missing here. So here we'll glue up another little leftover. I'll start by just shaping the combing. I have battens to mark a straight line, and then I'll take out the belt sander and I'll start with that.
Meanwhile, inside the boat, I had a very small and easy but pleasant little task to accomplish. Okay, so I have a small task to do, which is just to reinstall these things. And these things are little things that dangle from the ceiling like this. And they're used to keep the portholes open. And now that it's starting to get hot in the boatyard, it's nice to be able to open the portholes properly. Yeah, so basically this just hooks on and it just hangs open like that. Yeah, this was a nice job, did not take very long. It's got immediately satisfying and very useful results. Wouldn't it be nice if all boat jobs were like that? But very few are, in fact, so I'll savor them while I've got them.
Meanwhile, outside on the port side, the combing was planed down to a level surface. So now I was able to dry fit the existing piece of teak, this little piece that is missing at the front, so I glued those in now. There is numerous ways on how to make a cap like this. You could just make it out of really big luxury teak boards and cut it out in one piece. You could laminate one in different orientations. You could laminate it, you could laminate the curvatures in that you need using thinner strips, or you could laminate and stack things up to get a bit of a beefier chunk. But we are super grateful for having received this teak, and it does a wonderful purpose, and I'm so glad that it's going to be enough and really nice pieces to make these caps. Once again, thank you to Brock for sending us this lovely teak. We've gotten a lot of use out of it.
Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, você só continua com essa enrolação. Eu já limpei e arrumei o que você pediu, enquanto você tinha outra coisa que arrumar. E mesmo assim te esperando você não saiu. Falou que falta eu botar água pra esquentar. Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Depois vai tu cozinha, banho, roupa e bidê. Parece sempre que arruma coisa pra fazer. Já te falei que compromisso não pode esperar, mas você sempre arruma coisa pra se enrolar. Pa 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 pam bam bam pam pam pam. Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Eu já limpei e arrumei o que você pediu, enquanto você tinha o almoço para cozinhar. E mesmo assim, depois de tudo, você não saiu. E vem tá aqui agora, vai preparar o jantar. Eu já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, você continua com essa enrolação. Eu já chamei, já vazei, e você continua sempre enrolando.
With one side done, this left me with repeating the same thing, hopefully on the other side.
Continua com essa enrolação. Já cansei de te chamar pra tu sair de casa, mas você só continua com essa enrolação. Continua com essa enrolação. Já cansei de te chamar pra, mas você só continua com essa enrolação.
I have learned early on in my apprenticeship that it is very hard to do things symmetrical on a boat. Or actually, I learned as a surprise to me that things are not very symmetrical on boats. There is different techniques to measure with strings, but yeah, just go around, take a few measurements, and you'll be surprised. Things are not perfectly symmetrical, and that is all right. For example, when I first glued up the coaming in the new shape, I realized that one ended up being quite a bit longer. So yeah, I had to do it twice there just to get them to equal lengths. Planing down the coaming was a painstaking task. It took a lot of time. I had to do it multiple times, and then you always have to check in between. You definitely don't want to take away too much, and then you're comparing with the other side. So yeah, it took many goes at it. Starboard is a little trickier, and just in general, I'm trying to get tasks done as fast as I can, but also the coamings are built and installed, and I would not want to remove too much material at this point, of course. So it still is approached carefully. but it's going well. Really happy with the belt sander though for this application. Yeah, and meanwhile the piece of teak is gluing down below, so yeah, I'm very excited. The epoxy has cured. I have brought the pieces of teak up onto the coaming. I have traced the line where to cut. So yeah, time to make the first cuts, but let's approach it carefully. No wrong cuts allowed. So I like to work with these thin jigsaw blades from Bosch, clean wood they call it. So these are really good for radius and they make really clean cuts. But one thing is they are so thin that they wander a bit in hardwood. So I'm not quite getting the 90 degrees down yet, but that's why I left extra room. I just got to be careful that it doesn't go in the wrong direction. But I think at the very end, after these are in place, I'll actually do the last little bit with the router to trim the edge. Now it's just rough cutting it into shape. Oh, there it is. I like it. Yeah. Well, now I have to draw the parallel line to the one that I cut to make it equally wide in this section and to have it follow the same curvature, and then pointy here. And here we gotta decide how we terminate it, how much of this pad we want. Yeah, it's coming along. I wanted to have as little reveal as necessary because that would just dig into our backs. But yeah, just enough to still make it look more pleasant than if it was flush with the coaming. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one for now, do the same cut on this side. So one side was easy because just by placing it onto the coaming, I could trace along the coaming. But the other side, I wanted to be parallel to that first cut that I made. So then I just used, is it calipers? Yeah, I just used, or a similar device to just draw a parallel line to the first one. And that's what revealed the second line, which flares out though at the front and has a totally different shape at aft. But the biggest chunk of it I wanted to be parallel to the inside line. And also, one part of the design came about as I was doing it, because many things already I have quite an idea on how I want to proceed in my head. But now that I laid this out and I was working on it, I actually decided to make the teak pad aft quite a bit bigger than I had planned initially. And I really think that this will make a really nice seat. It will stop water from fountaining up whenever we get waves coming aft from along the side deck. So yeah, a design change, but I'm pretty excited how this is going to turn out. I really couldn't be happier with this teak and its functionality and look. I came up with a hole pattern of where I want the fasteners to be so that they look more or less symmetric, and just to know where not to put a fastener, because I have some threaded rods going all the way through. And then after that, I marked the center line on the teak of where I want the fasteners to be. Since I have the lines giving me both perimeters, now I need the center. So I marked that, brought the teak back up here, marked on the teak where the fasteners are going, drilled the holes on the teak down below, and then transferred the holes into the coaming. And initially I thought of putting in threaded inserts to hold down the teak. The problem that I'm facing is the coaming is laminated, so it could be seen as plywood or as end grain of plywood, which is really not ideal for fasteners. Could just split and the fasteners don't hold well. So then I talked to our friend Barry, and he said, why not drill holes and put in teak bunks? And time is of the essence, and that is a much quicker approach, so that's what I'm doing. It is just a day later, but things look very different. I had to put up a tarp. It started raining, even if it was so sunny yesterday. Anyway, I thought it would be sunny today as well. That's what the forecast promised, but we woke up to rain. So I came over here quickly, put up a quick shelter, and that is because I don't want the end grain to get wet. I rounded the corners, and soon here I'm gonna mix up a little bit of paint. I want to put multiple coats of paint onto the end grain here to protect it. Because yes, we will put the caps down with Sikaflex, but this might move still, and yeah, just experience tells me that water is gonna find its way there. And also the entire concept of this has progressed a little bit. Initially, we just thought of having this teak pad to catch the water that comes rushing back, and to prevent it from hitting the end of the coaming and fountaining up into our faces when sailing. But luckily I glued on quite a big piece of teak, and so when I saw it here, I thought that it would also make a fabulous seat. And so this is exactly where this is going. So now I can gingerly sit on it. It's a bit slanted, which is nice. And with the push bit, it just works beautifully to have a clear line of sight forward to the bow. The tiller would be somewhere here. So we really like this seat idea. So in order to make the seat a little stronger, I added a piece of teak here, and this one is to arrive parallel to the tow rail. And so the next step now is to put another piece of teak 90 degrees down to support it, so then it's not going to be able to bend down anymore.
Birds are singing, the sky close my eyes and I'm with you.
Really nice job in between to get to work on some really good quality, ancient, aged teak, so to speak. Really happy with how it turned out with the pieces that we had. So here I was able to use nice grain along, and then I had a beautiful plank that had a bit of a different structure here, but also really nice lines here, and so the glue joint almost disappears, which I'm very pleased with. Because of course, before I glue something together, I spun all the pieces that I have 100 times to see where they match best, and I'm really happy how these actually match. Because we also didn't have that much choice, like it was either these two pieces or none. But I spun them around enough to get a really pleasant result actually. I only have to make a cutout for the winch here, that's left. And of course recess the fasteners and actually install it. But yeah, just yesterday I rounded over the edges, which is a bit of an aesthetic final touch. So yeah, you can really start seeing the result, which is, we're very happy with them. So we're not quite done here, but we've done the biggest majority, and I'm super happy how it's turning around.
I just have to say how extremely happy I am with this project. This brings me so much joy to see these like gorgeous aesthetic details coming together. It's amazing, and I'm so happy with this teak platform with the seat that we have here, because that's really going to be just like the prime spot to sit in the cockpit. I think it's such a good idea because you always end up sitting on these cockpit combings anyway, even when they're not comfortable. For example, on Magic Carpet 1, they had quite narrow teak caps on the combings. They were not that comfortable to sit on, but we still found ourselves always sitting on them for some reason, because it's just nice to get a little bit of that elevated view. Yeah, I'm just really, really happy about this. What a beautiful project, Aladino. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so that concludes the episode for this week. Huge thank you for being here and for watching. An extra big thank you to our patrons for making this all possible. We publish real-time updates on Patreon every single week, and those are patron exclusive, never published anywhere else. So if you're curious sort of what's happening in real time, think through some real-time decisions and dilemmas with us, that's what happens over there. And it's also what allows us to keep this whole program sponsor-free and ad-free, and that's really, really nice. An extra big thanks to the folks whose names are now appearing on screen for always going the extra mile to make sure that Magic Carpet keeps being produced. We'll see you all next Friday. Bye.
And thank you, Brock, for the teak.
Thank you, Brock, for the teak. Truly, what a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, we're not cabinet makers, but we're still pleased you chose to give it to us. I hope you like what we did with it. Yeah.
I mean, I love this so much, Aladino.
Me too.
I can't imagine not liking it. It's just amazing. Yeah, it's really amazing. And I'm excited once it's all properly shored up here to be able to sit there with my full weight and fully experience it. Can you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I put a little...
More... Oh, you put something there?
Yeah, there's a bit of hardware.
Oh.
It's just an idea for now, but you can totally sit on it.
Oh man, that's lovely. And to have this whole, the push pit is perfectly placed as a backrest. Mm-hmm. And then to have this whole open off deck section here, that is really nice.
It's also a nice armrest halfway the tube. Like if
like
you look forward.
Here?
No, sit on it. But like now you put your elbow onto the teak, but now you put your elbow onto the, there.
Yeah.
And as you look forward, exactly.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Wow. I love it.
Cool. I made a template 3 years ago. I'm glad it came into fruition.
Well, it could not be better actually, because I remember the template you made and it was really nice. It was a great template, but it didn't have sort of such a large teak platform here, and I think the size of this really makes a difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, for real now. Bye guys. Bye.